A lot can happen in a week. For example, first of all, we get this.
So now is the time to take action because there is no alternative. And from Thursday until the start of December, you must stay at home. You may only leave home for specific reasons.
And then second of all, I do this. Right, Mutant Blasts. We have Dual Avatar Compact once again. I pulled so many of those and Banquet of Millions. Dual Avatar Return. Whoa, let's go. Oh dear. Ladies and gents, please tell me what I'm seeing is correct. That is Tri-Brigade Frigate, the Baron Blossom in Starlight Rare. Please correct me if I am wrong. Wow. That is actually the first Starlight Rare I've actually managed to pull. I thought my luck was out when I pulled Torn Scales, but boy, oh boy, ladies and gents, you are seeing it live in the flesh. Whew. Jeez Louise. Okay, that is going straight into a sleeve, no hesitation. And on we'll go. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. You know who it is by now.
Jimothy.
Now, ladies and gents, with the unfortunate closure of a majority of the shops across the UK, Hobby League has been put on a pause, mainly because we can't actually go and play together. However, it will be returning to the channel. But what I thought I would do, ladies and gents, is actually show you a revised list of my Shadow deck that I'm going to be planning to take to Hobby League, just so you guys get an idea of what I'm playing and some potential ideas you could have for when you are building a Shadow deck yourself. So without wasting any more of your time, let's get straight into the profile. Okay, ladies and gents, let's get into the profile. I'm not going to go through every single card because obviously I've done a bit of a detailed profile about what all the cards do previously. But what I will do is just speak a little bit about my choices and my reasons behind some of the inclusions. Now, I am playing a 47 card deck. I was trying to go for 46. Previously, I was pushing 50 and it just seemed to just be very awkward. So I've reduced the card count down. I wanted to drop one more card, but I just couldn't actually bring myself to dropping some of the cards in. So obviously I've got 3 Shadow Squamata. That kind of goes without saying. One of the best cards in the deck. Also playing 3 Reshadow Wendy. Fantastic card. Allows you to just get some crazy plays going. I'm now playing a double Shadow Aerial. I believe previously I was potentially playing this at 3. I've dropped it down to 2. I think 1's not enough, potentially, especially if you get into a grind game situation. You've got the ability to bring her out again. I do like to have another one to go into. So I'm playing 2 Nail Shadow Aerial. I'm also playing double Hedgehog. I believe this was at 3 in my previous one. I don't need that many of him. Upon testing, what I tended to do is once I've got his effect off once, potentially it comes up again, but I only need the singular search. So having 3 was a bit excessive in my opinion. If you're going for a 60 card build, definitely you could include 3. But if you're trying to push for a bit more consistency and you want a lower card count, definitely a 2 of, in my opinion. Next, for some of the one-offs, 1 Shadow Falco, he was at 2 in my previous build. 1 Shadow Hound and 1 Shadow Beast, as well as, let me see if I can squeeze this in, 1 Shadow Dragon. Now I did up these in the previous one. I think I was playing 2 Beasts, but I believe these are all fine at 1, to be honest. It's a good out. You get them when you need them. They're highly searchable in this deck, especially with Shadow Fusion, for example, as well as Mathematician. It's just easy to have these at 1. And Shadow Falco, he can kind of recur himself anyway. So yeah, not playing no needle fiber in this build. Oh, I've also 1 Quad Shadow Chaos, just a light target that's easily searchable, just in case I want to get into my construct and I'm using Shadow Fusion. So 1 Quad Shadow Chaos, not too shabby. For the non-Shadow cards, or the pseudo Shadow card, Mathematician, fantastic card, get your plays going. Typically what you tend to do is try and bait out a load of negates before you actually normal summon him, because he can be that important. He gets your whole engine going, allows you to do just crazy amount of things. So yeah, 1 triple Mathematician as probably your only normal summon of the deck. So you can run things like Lava Golem, ladies and gents, because typically you do not normal summon too much with this deck. For the one-offs, 1 Trick Clown, 1 Edge Him Tomahawk. He should actually be Edge Him sabers or chains. I can't actually find my copy of it, so I've just thrown in a tomahawk. His effect is literally useless. One dino wrestler, Pancratops. Again, I like to have a main deck out to some problem monsters. Pancratops fulfills that situation, as always. Which this card is at 2. This could also be Zoo King Alpha, or Master of Beasts, whatever it's called now, just for another layer of removal. But Pancratops can deal with back row as well, which can be problematic, and it can bait out a whole load of stuff. So I do like having the Pancratops in the main board for that reason. And then finally for hand traps, we are running triple gamma as well as one side-frame driver. Now, ladies and gents, what I say is, because we are playing a little bit of a different style of format, if you was going to go for a more competitive route, you could literally just throw in a bunch of hand traps, specifically more light hand traps. So for example, in the wings, when I do get your actual competitive advanced format locals, I will be putting in a Ghost Ogre as well as an Effect Veiler, potentially an Ash Blossom, and as well as Infinite Impermanence. Those hand traps allow you to play the game going first or going second. It's really useful, and obviously you can use the light targets to go into your construct. But for the format that we're playing right here, ladies and gents, where only 3 hand traps are allowed in the main board, I've just gone for gamma. Again, this could be literally anything, so your hand trap is always up to you. You could even throw a Droll and Lockbird in there, which is something that I'm highly considering, especially with Dragon Link still being very prominent. Next, let's go on to the Shadow spells. These kind of go without saying. We've got triple Shadow Fusion. Nothing needs to be said about that. Quick play fusion spell. Triple Shadow Fusion. Sorry, the last one was El Shadow Fusion. Again, if your opponent's got a monster on board, you can send materials from your deck, as well as using it in your hand. So powerful card, great going second card. And we're actually running the 1 Neph as well as double super polymerization. I can actually change this out for the 3rd super poly. Again, you can actually super poly some of your own monsters off as well as your opponent monsters, because you just need attributes really. So your opponent's going to control some type of attribute. So super poly is always live, and we do run a couple of targets in the extra deck, which I probably may refine a little bit more, to be honest. But the 1 Neph and the double super poly. Next, we are playing the double polymerization and the Frightfurt Patchwork. Again, this is just for your play to search out your Frightfurt monster from your deck. It baits an Ash, if anything, and if it does resolve, then you're going +2. So yeah, sorry, +1. So yeah, very useful card. So the 2 polymerization and the Frightfurt Patchwork. Now that's what I've gone for. I tried to go for a little bit of a higher count because I wanted to drown some of the polymerizations and some of the fusion cards amongst the monsters. Going for a lower count actually stops me from doing that. So yeah. I'm also playing the double Foolish Burial Goods and the 1 Foolish Burial. This is actually a play starter, so you could Foolish Burial your Squamata, for example. Then you could Foolish Burial any spell or traps that you wanted. Then you could, Foolish Burial Squamata send a Shadow spell or trap to the graveyard. Then you can Foolish Burial your core, which I am now playing, your Shadow core, which allows you to add back one of your spells and traps that are in your graveyard. So seeing these 2 in hand, ladies and gents, is actually a blessing in disguise. You don't actually have to use your hand to be able to start popping off with some plays. So definitely a good shout for this deck, because as well as doing that, you can use your Shadow Construct to get stuff out of the graveyard anyway. So being able to dump exactly what you need or what you want and then get it out of the graveyard is just fantastic, let alone being able to dump your Red Shadow Incarnation, which actually flips a monster face up. So yeah, definitely a powerful play right there, ladies and gents. And then for the last spell, we're running 1 Monster Reborn for a nice extender. Next, we are running double Red Shadow Incarnation. This card is beautiful. I do actually play 6 traps in this deck. I was umming and ahhing about it, but because of the format and the way that we're going to be playing this hobby league, I decided to run with the 6 traps. You could actually take some of the traps out and run more hand traps, for example, but for this build and this particular meta, we're running 6 traps, with 2 of them being Red Shadow Incarnation. Fantastic card. Monster Reborn, as well as it can flip a monster face up, which is very useful, especially with Red Shadow Aerial. So powerful card right there, ladies and gents. I don't see many builds playing too many of that. They do, however, play Shadow Schism. or Shadow Schism, however you want to pronounce it. Fantastic card, allows you to play on your opponent's turns, potentially summoning a Winder, and it allows you to non-target send a monster with the same attribute of the fusion monster you summoned off its effect to the graveyard. So that's non-targeting removal, ladies and gents, non-destruction removal at that. So Shadow Schism, very, very powerful card. This is why you see this in Dog Massacre Invoked, in Shaddoll Invoked. Just any Shadow build is going to be playing this, and with the new support that we're going to get, I think it's Blazing Vortex, correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section, but with the new support that we're going to get, ladies and gents, this is just going to become even more powerful. So double Shadow Schism. And then finally we're playing the one I Say No to Everything and the one Shadow Core. This card's fantastic. You can actually loop this card over and over again. It's crazy when it gets sent to the graveyard by card effect. So typically you can special summon it as a monster. It becomes whatever attribute you need it to be. You fusion off this card and one of your other monsters. This goes to the graveyard by card effect. It allows you to add a card back from the graveyard, and then you can just reoccur this card with your Shadow construct, which is really, really powerful. And Solemn Judgment, we all know what that does. I forbid thee from playing the game. Right, next onto our extra deck. We're running double construct. Two's fine. You could potentially put a third one in, but I found that two's fine. I've looped these, it works. So double Shadow construct, double Winder. Let's say no to special summoning. Yes, I will put a stop to that. I like this card. We're playing the double Al Shadow App Cologne. I might actually change this, ladies and gents, just to run the one and potentially put in another super poly target or some other utility. It doesn't actually come up more than once potentially, because normally you're summoning your construct, but it is what it is. Al Shadow App Cologne, decent card, allows you to negate a face-up monster's effect and has a bit of recursion from the graveyard or your deck for that matter. So yeah. We're also playing the one Shekinaga, decent negate. Again, going first, you can potentially sit up. You're always going to go into your construct first to get your engine going, but you can actually end on a Shekinaga and have some plays to basically follow up for the next turn. So yeah. Next, super poly targets, one Predaplant Dragos Tapalia and one Mud Dragon of the Swamp, is what it is. Next, onto the links, we are playing one Shadow Construct, one Crush Sheep, and one IP Masquerena as our link 2s. We are still missing our Predaplant Verte Anaconda. I should have got it in the previous hobby league. However, because the league was closed down due to, I'm not going to mention its name, I wasn't able to actually get my hands on a Verte Anaconda. So I decided to just stick with the extra deck that I had previously. So no Verte Anaconda yet, but it will be in here. And then we have our game enders, Borosword, and well as Mech Knight Crusadia Avramax. If you go into Avramax with your IP Masquerena, this card effectively becomes Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. Yes, it is not as easily accessible, but yet it is a Red Eyes Dark Dragoon in the terms of it can't be targeted and it can't be destroyed by card effects. It also redirects attacks as well. So it's a very, very powerful card. And then obviously Borosword is just a game ender. This is power crept by Access Code Talker, which I don't own, so Borosword Dragon will have to do. So ladies and gents, that is the profile. Well, ladies and gents, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, if you do like this content, be sure to like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff, and I will definitely see you guys on the next video. Hope you enjoyed. Peace.